All right, that's what you get. Kind of depressing when it's not Victory Monday around these parts. We've gotten used to that after 3 straight wins, but the Jaguars fall 20-12 to the Seattle Seahawks yesterday, and we've got 2 hours to go over our reactions to that. Good morning, everybody. Welcome in. Fresh week for Jaguars Today. Jags will be on a plane tonight and heading to London, taking the early week portion of the trip. They've been going later in the week. Different regime, though, so they're going to do things their way, and we'll worry about that a little bit later on in the week. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning.
Trevor Lawrence under a lot of pressure yesterday. That offensive line. Look, Robert Hainsey's a good player. I don't think Robert Hainsey's absence was responsible for Trevor being under the most pressure of any quarterback, literally in years in the National Football League. Either in the first half, I think he had the most pressure in the first half of any quarterback and a half since 2020. Most pressures in a game since 2022.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are bringing up specifically that stat with the last one that had been pressured as much as Trevor was yesterday was Patrick Mahomes, I think in a game in 2020. That they wound up winning, and they accounted for 500 yards of offense, and everyone's like, what happened with Mahomes? It's like, yeah, Trevor Lawrence isn't Mahomes.
Yep.
You know, like,
probably not going to be.
Right. Like this kind of, okay, so he's not Patrick Mahomes. They have to deal with the whatever limitations they have at a bunch of different spots. And apparently one of those limitations is if you're going to give up a pressure basically every other time that he drops back, they're not going to have very much success on offense, right? They're just not built for that kind of thing. David, you had the quarterback's eyes watching all of that. What was your general impression of what we got from Trevor Lawrence yesterday?
I was concerned on every drop back. Like, I thought, get the ball out of your hands. Good job checking it down. I really thought he did as best he could do with very little time. And I almost wanted to go to my phone and start looking up the D-line, because I knew they were a good D-line, but I'm like, are they the best D-line in the NFL? Because that's what it looked like yesterday. It looked like it didn't matter what kind of pass play we had, whether it was play action, whether it was booting them out, whether it was getting them on the run, whatever it was, he was going to have somebody in his face. The pocket was going to be constricted to the point to where he had no other point than just to find the guy right there in front of him with his check down.
And to compound it, when he did have time, on the occasions he did have time, how often did he have to check it down anyway? Because no one is winning against the secondary without their top 3 playmakers. It was unbelievable. Brian Thomas was getting open on occasion down the field because he put up some decent numbers. And yes, I understand he had the big drop late in the game on a 3rd and 5 that would have moved the sticks, and you can't get away from it. It was a crucial play.
Yeah, and the one taken away by a crazy, stupid penalty.
Like, which one?
The offside.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, he was offside.
Yeah. He was offside, yeah.
Travis Hunter lined up offside. Yeah. And really, that was a fluky touchdown anyway.
It was.
But the thing of it is, they went on to score on that drive.
They did.
You know, so they overcame that. He missed Yami Brown early in the game on a deep shot. It wouldn't have scored on it, but it would have been a big chunk. They went on to score on that drive. So, you know, you can look and say, well, if we had hit this play, if we had hit that play. We ended up later on the drive getting the touchdown that you were looking for anyway. Yeah. So there were occasions when they were able to overcome it.
Like, I feel like coming out of that game yesterday, I'm no more worried about how resilient this football team is than I was going into the game, right? Like, they were in the fourth quarter of that game, they did have a couple of drives where they had the opportunity to go tie the game up in a game where it never felt like they were really in it. For those middle 2 quarters, it never really felt like they were in the fight. And then in the fourth quarter, they kind of picked up the fight again. I mentioned during crosstalk this morning, if they had found a way to come back in that game yesterday, it was one of those where everybody might just want to get out of the way of the Jaguars, right? Like, if they come back from 14 against the Chiefs, and then they come back from 2 scores down again yesterday with everything that was going wrong for them in that football game again, if they're going to be a team that can come back from those kind of things in back-to-back weeks, then you might just have a really, really dangerous football team. They're obviously not that yet. Otherwise, they would have won the game yesterday. But there was fight in the fourth quarter. It wasn't enough for the football team. This week is going to tell you everything I think you need to know about the 2025 Jaguars with the weirdness of the trip to London, another tough opponent this week, the way they just got beat. Like, a lot of questions you may have in your mind are going to get answered this week against the St. Louis or the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah, and you're right. The middle of the game, it kind of felt like we're just not putting anything together. We're discombobulated, penalties, all kinds of things. But then there was still hope at the end of the game that we could still do something. And I feel like this team kind of does show you that they still can play with anybody, but we've won so many games here early that we don't want to just play with anybody anymore. We want to beat these teams. We want to be the team that everybody wants to try to come beat. So that was disappointing. I did like how they still continued to fight, but our defense, man, it wasn't – they were a good offense. I mean, and Jigba is a monster.
One of the best receivers in the league.
He's a monster.
He's having a great year.
And
yeah.
when you watch him run his routes, you can just see good luck staying with me, because as soon as I break, I'm going to be 5 yards further away from you when I break. And he was the whole game. So it just showed that we still are deficient at places because we had very little pass rush. I mean, I kept looking at the D-line thinking, okay, who's going to make a play here? And everybody was just stuck to alignment. And I'm like, gosh almighty, nobody is doing anything to get any separation. So we've got a bunch of things to clean up. Penalties, no pass rush. Guys need to – it looks like Newsome was the guy that gave up that big touchdown. But Wingard should have been there.
They're in quarters coverage.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone's got a quarter of the field deep, and there's no one to challenge him in the middle of the field.
Brings Wingard up. He is just being nosy,
He's
looking.
kind of floating in the middle there.
And then turns and is like, oh, shoot, I can't get there.
Look, this defense, you're right, no pressure, but with the exception of 2 plays, they did a great job throughout this game. They went in the fourth quarter.
That
3
was
and out, 3 and out, 4 and out to get the ball back to the offense who couldn't do anything with it. And it was the 2 plays. It was the play when Newsome comes in, and it looks bad because here's his first rep as a Jag, and boom, they
didn't realize it was his first rep.
Right, I believe it was.
I didn't realize that.
I literally think it was.
But
his
that's
first
what
rep.
you want to do when somebody comes in the first time.
So they identify we're going to take a shot, but you're right. Dewey's just kind of floating in the middle of the field, and then on the one to Barner that sealed the game, it was the same. Like Dewey bit that one, at least you could see it was play action. He kind of bit up, and it was too late.
Yeah.
And then he did like the Tyson Campbell move from the week before, where I'm just going to kind of run around him a little bit here, and eventually someone will come up here and help me get him on the ground. But those 2 plays were the difference in the football game in a lot of ways. So you could say you played great with the exception of that, but that was part of what you did.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Dempsey here, thanking you so much for watching 1010XL Jaguars on YouTube. But before you click away, please like this video, subscribe to this channel, and be sure to check out our other team-specific channels on the 1010XL network on YouTube.